Yes, thank you. So I've got this difficult problem that I'm a statistician. And that because of this, and my wife, some of you might know that she, until recently, she was writing for The Guardian and doing lots of science communications, and psychons say, we should avoid science, communicating what we're doing. And I'm looking at what I'm doing and thinking, well, quite frankly, the public doesn't really want to know. And it's a challenge. So I managed to get residual plots into The Guardian, which is probably why my wife no longer writes for them. The other problem I have, apart from trying to write my stats for the public, is ecologists. So
Yeah.
I think I picked the wrong audience for this one. So, I'm a statistician, I work with other people's data, and occasionally people throw snowballs at moose, and, they do it really well and have controls, and, it's a piece of piss, really. But other times, the data's not quite so good. So, for example, as there seem to be a few ecologists in this room, actually, is there anybody in this room who isn't an ecologist? Oh, one. And that's not the compare. Two. Ooh, woo, two. Oh, yeah. She's a geneticist. So, as an ecologist, you might be aware of GBIF, which is this big database where you just put in all the data that you want about where species are. And then you want to use that to be able to predict where species really are, and also then where they're going to be in 20 years' time. So you go to that database and you search for Lepidoptera. Including night moths. And you search for Lepidoptera, you get these maps, and you look at it and go, yeah, right. Look at North America. And obviously there are very few butterflies and moths in the far north of Canada. And as you go further down, because you get more and more and more. And then, interestingly, you hit this line, which is the American border. The Americans do not like butterflies and moths. I think Donald Trump has gone up there and built this big butterfly net across the whole of the border with Canada just to keep them out. And this is typical. I have this theory that you can use GBIF to draw the political boundaries of the world just by picking out which countries collect data and which don't. And I, as a statistician, am asked to sort this data out. And this is where the sausage thing comes in, that you've got... I mean, physicists, they're great. They have the cuts of... the prime cuts of beef. They sort of, we want to find this small thing, sort of that big. And so can you give us hundreds of millions of euros to build a tunnel under the Alps for where you can sort of, duty-free, I think. And, we will build this big piece of equipment and fly stuff around. Great data, perfect. We get the crap, the crud, the awful, the bits you just don't want to ask about. And not only do you get that data, you then give it to me to sort out. Now again, the people who know about these things, there's a package called MaxSense, a few other things, which is ecologists trying to sort this thing out. And it's awful. I'm sorry. So I had to do better. And, I get this data, get different sorts of data. And because I'm actually a real statistician, I actually know how to deal with this stuff. I feel at this point I should just double down and just say, you all crap. Thank you. Obviously, at least one other statistician here tonight. But you will be.
I wish.
And so, I sort of spend my time taking this data, trying to think how to sort of fit the models properly, use point processes, and have these layers for observation effort, blah, blah, blah. All this sort of thing which I do, which, quite frankly, you do not want to read about in The Guardian. And do this, then sort of, well, these are big complicated models, take a long time to fit, so, we've got this nice piece of software which was written by some people next to hell. Literally. Use that, I mean, it's great, and you sort of, turn these handles, sit around, wait for a couple of days for it all to work. And then you get these results, and this is the gourmet sausage. The stuff that the ecologists all produce, that's the fins of this bee knacky, these sort of crap sausages which you're surprised if you find any meat in. This is the cheap supermarket sausage. I'm doing the gourmet stuff. It's still the same crap inside it, but I know how to in statistical terms, how to get the recipes to make it nice and tasty and put the right herbs in, that sort of thing, and how to cook it and get this really nice, wonderful sausage. Don't worry, I will not be waving the sausage around later. We had the striptease earlier, you saw how that went. And so I do, this is what I'm doing at the moment, and getting all this sort of stuff. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to sort of write this paper and say, isn't this wonderful? Put the code up. So, you can do it yourself. Spend lots of time doing this. And these ecologists, because I know there's not any ecologists in the room, so I can be as rude to them as I like. They're going to go, so yeah, that's great. You nice gourmet sausage, but we don't care. We like our supermarket sausage, which it's pretty awful, but that's okay. We have to have these pseudo absences things, which is like getting your tomato ketchup and going all over it, and just kill the taste. So the worst thing, and just know this is going to happen. And so this horrible thing for me, as a statistician, is that I'm trying to make the world a better place by not writing in The Guardian. And it's all going to be a waste because, much as we say we like the gourmet stuff, we all know in the end we just want to grab, these sort of pink things in plastic and just, pink, yes. And, just sort of grill it, preferably taking the plastic off first and then just splatting it with tomato ketchup. Yes, I was talking about sausage. And so it just feels like, not only am I sort of wasting my time with sort of my public outreach, I'm also just wasting my time with statistics. It makes me wonder, what am I doing here?